The views and opinions of this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers. There is substantial risk of loss in trading futures and options, which you should carefully consider prior to trading. Well, end of the week market action on Friday, kind of a mixed bag. We tried to find a little bit of green on the screen in the soy complex, while wheat, again, a loser. No friends in that wheat market right now. Corn kind of stuck in between, fairly quiet outside markets and more. Really feels like largely a weather market until we get to the end of the month, USDA reports, and find some other fodder for the trade. Let's talk about the week of the market action. Joining us for a conversation, Tommy Grisafi with Advanced Trading and ATI Pro Media is with us here today. Tommy, good to talk with you again, my friend. How are you?
How you doing, Jesse? I liked how the markets were up last night versus how they are today. But as you know, Friday as the markets closed, we had July options expiration, and people are adjusting positions again. We'll talk about it in a little bit. But boy, I think the last time we recorded 3-4 weeks ago, wheat was $1.50 higher. Wheat sold off $1.50. Corn sold off 30 cents. I've lost track of beans. I'm going to put them down for 40, 50 cents lower since last time we talked. Things can change quick, though. You know what time of year it is. You mentioned weather market. It's silly season. Don't get so bummed out, folks, but understand next week we have a big, major report with that acreage, with the 4th of July holiday. Next Friday, June 28th, we call it, Connor at work keeps calling it the June 30th crop report, but it's on June 28th, which is a Friday. It's the end of June, the end of second quarter. A lot of data comes out. It can move the markets. I want everyone out there to have a great 4th of July. Get in control of these bushels. Get these floors set. You know, if you need to take some risk off, get in control. Because I think, Jesse, I know you put out more content than anyone out there. I think you could start to sense from your analysts, your brokers, or either other people in farming and banking that farmers are starting to get nervous. What do you say?
Yeah, there is quite a bit of nervousness in farm country, and some of it is being, said out loud, and some of it is you could just tell without having it said. That's a great point. Let's talk about
an interesting point, because like a one-on-one conversation, me pulling up the Advanced Trading recorded line, talking to a client about puts, calls, futures, options might be one thing. Me calling a farmer friend on a cell phone, say, how you doing? I'm getting a little bummed out. Like it's a different tone, different conversation. Good point, Jess.
Yeah. Let's put this in perspective. You got some charts to share with us here today. And you mentioned, wheat right off the top of the hat. Why don't we start with wheat? Because that is where we've seen this biggest amount of volatility. And so let me pull these into our YouTube feed. I mean, walk us through this, Tommy. It just feels like there are no friends in this wheat market. It's like, 15 of 17 days lower here in all three U.S. wheat futures. I mean, and talk about just this big drop. These charts really illustrate it, I think.
Sure. Well, thanks for letting me bring my charts to show and tell today. This is a daily chart of Board of Trade wheat. It was so much fun when we were going up that mountain. Look how it was climbing. It would pull back and people are like, is it over? It'd climb. Is it over? It would climb, gave you that big break, capitulated. Nothing but that's a steep slope if you're skiing down that, buddy. Oftentimes people say the markets take the elevators up, the escalator up, the elevator down. This thing took them the elevator up to the top floor and down. That's Board of Trade wheat. Just so folks know, watching at home, you home gamers, the red line is the 200-day moving average, and the green line is the 100. So Jesse Allen's out there interviewing people, and they're like, wheat's doing well. It's above the 100 and the 200. Now we got to tell them the truth. Wheat's not doing well. It's very much below the 100 and the 200. That's Board of Trade wheat. Let's bring our friend KC in real quick. Same thing, steep slope. Had the better story. All this based out of Russia. Russia had the frost, the freeze, this, that. We're not communicating well with Russia right now. We have no clue what their crop condition is, but we know it's not as good as prior years. Here's the one that should make everyone the saddest. Our friend up there in Minneapolis, my clients up in North Dakota, not only is wheat lower, it's lower than where it started. As you know from crop ratings that come out on Monday, the spring wheat crop's been in phenomenal shape. I talked to my friend Kevin from Halo Commodities in Fargo. He said not only is the North Dakota spring wheat in great shape, but for the first time in a long time, the Canadian prairies have received adequate moisture. Look for a massive wheat crop coming out of the northern plains, Jess.
Yeah, and just those steep drops in all three of those charts really illustrates it, and it's just tough to your point. A lot of folks getting bummed out, and at this point in time, barring a weather issue, We got harvest pressure in the southern plains, of course, things like that. I mean, I just don't see a turnaround happening for wheat, but even too, soybeans, corn, kind of the same things. I know you got charts for those too, Tommy.
Yeah, this is December corn. Look at how we're coming to that green line. I drew that green line just to give folks what date that is. That was back in February 23. And that's February 23rd of the year 2024. And that's right when we had that March expiration. So if you remember, folks, several months ago, we made that low right on a Friday on March expiration. Would not take a genius. You don't need Tommy and Jesse to tell you that wheat is massively oversold and could have a bounce. But what's a bounce, Jesse? 20, 30 cents? That's respectable, right? Corn, what's a bounce? We could bounce 20, 30 cents quickly on a change of a weather report, hot, dry weather. Do we have that dollar in us? It doesn't look like it. Now, D's corn below the 100 and the 200. Real quick, moving over to note beans. They broke a support line that I drew a few days ago. And Connor had asked, we work with, he said, hey, show folks a weekly. And when we look at a weekly chart of note beans, this is the lowest price we've been since down here of 21. So it's been a heck of a ride. We've all enjoyed these higher prices. I hope you got sold and protected on those. But no beans getting into a territory we haven't seen in a while. I can look in the camera with a straight face, say, absolutely, corn, wheat, and beans could bounce. But people, it would have been so much better to know that a month ago they could have got them all forward sold, Jess.
Yeah, very true. Well, and let's think about this too. Looking ahead to the end of the month reports, as you mentioned earlier, talking about the importance of these reports. And I think, they can bring us surprises, Tommy. We know that. But realistically, could USDA give us enough to drastically change the story? I think with the current conditions of the crop and some of that old adage of, well, maybe traders think rain makes grain, even though we're getting a lot of rain in the upper Midwest. I don't know. I don't know what floods this grain complex to give us a change in trend right now.
Well, we have some things. The funds are short, right? And if we had a catalyst to get them to be scared, that could happen quickly and explosively. Also, that we know the whole state of Minnesota, it used to be called the land of 10,000 lakes. There's about 11,000 up there right now. Minnesota could have some serious production problems. We won't know that till October, November, December, January. But what the USDA is going to tell us next week, which is so scary, is did it get planted? What did you intend to plan? What are ending stocks? They're going to put Minnesota down for planted in good shape, and that may not be the final story. But overall, if you look at where that drought monitor map was last year, especially that eastern part of Iowa, which is a big bushel producing area, that drought's gone. Kansas, where our friend Brady Huck's from, drought's going away quickly. There's enough good areas that can make up for the bad areas, and the bad areas in this case are too much rain. But if we grew that many bushels last year with that little rain, how many could we grow with adequate rain? Questions, that's a question you and I will know better in 6 months.
Yeah, very true. Very true. I should ask you outside macro market picture. I like to talk about that with you often. And I know the dollar's been higher, and that's been a bit of a headwind as well for grain and livestock trade. Any thoughts here as we're working through the month of June in terms of these macro markets, Tommy?
Sure. Today we had something special happen. It's called quadruple witching. I couldn't even say it. It's such a big word. Quadruple witching happened, and that's when a lot of futures and options in various commodities and derivatives expire. So we no longer trade June bonds. We're moving to SEP bonds. We're moving out of all the June contracts into other things. You had an options expiry. You're having some rebalancing. Overall, the stock market's doing okay. Yesterday we've seen a big divergence where at one point yesterday, the Dow Jones was up 350 and the NASDAQ was down 150. A lot of that's just how money's flowing in and out of NVIDIA. What do folks need to know as they go home? As of this week, NVIDIA, the number one most capitalized company in America. And I bet you a few years ago, you didn't even know. I knew what NVIDIA was, but I have a computer over here, a really nice big box computer. And when I custom build it, they're like, do you want the NVIDIA monitor card? And I've always been buying NVIDIA monitor cards just because I heard they were great. Now, obviously, with AI, NVIDIA's taken over the world.
Yeah. Man, wish I would have bought some of that NVIDIA stock here. How long ago, right?
Been
Tommy?
happy with one share. One share. I just want one share. Yeah, I feel a little silly. Hey, you were there. I gave a speech at the Commodity Classic about NVIDIA, AI, and all this other stuff. Back then, it was at like $700-800 a share. And then since then, it's a split, but it was at like $1,200 or $1,400 a share just the other day. So from the Commodity Classic to now, NVIDIA's up 180% year to date. Folks, if you're out there, it's great to talk about something going up that much. We're talking about corn, beans, and wheat. And as I noticed, corn closed on the low today.
Yeah, and that's we don't want to see it on the lows, that's for sure. Real quick, too, livestock, any notes there? I know, especially cattle, there's been a disconnect continuing between cash versus what's happening on the board, things like that. I mean, any thoughts for us, any notes in that protein sector overall, Tommy?
No, I usually count on Brady Huck to do all that. I do know this. Some people are terribly disappointed. If you're a hog producer, you're pretty scared with the margins. The cattle markets, both live cattle and feeder cattle, are at great prices, but it wouldn't take them going down too much to scare people. So there's a lot of people out there unhedged, unprotected. We suggest you look at LRP insurance. If you need to know more about that, we have several agents at our office. But I would hate to see the cattle market have a big break in the election and you say, I wish I would have done something. You still have time. That I think we have a report after the close, so we'll look in those cattle markets a little bit more coming into Monday.
Yeah, cattle on feed report. We'll see what that gives us and how that shakes the markets up, if anything. Guess we get into next week. Tommy, as we wrap it up here today, any final take homes you have for producers here this week?
No, I want you to be in a position where you can enjoy the 4th of July. We all get bummed out when the markets go down. Even if I'm short futures, I hate to see the market go down against the farmer. The market's going down because you're awesome at farming. You have great equipment, great seed, great land. You tiled it. Expect big bushels. If you would have been marketing grain as if you're awesome and Mother Nature's going to be kind, you'd be more forward sold, more forward protected.
Tommy, good thoughts as always. Give us a plug real quick as well. You guys have your Live at 9 ATI Pro Media on YouTube and social media each and every weekday. Go to Over the Markets. Where can folks find more info?
Yeah, go to Advanced Trading YouTube page. And of course, like you always say, don't forget to like and subscribe to Market Talk, to ATI Pro Media. There's a lot of people like yourself out there working hard, but I think you are the best, not one of the best. Jesse Allen, you are putting out more quality content than anyone I know. Congratulations.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, and I'm going to say this. You guys are right there with me. I love what you guys are doing with ATI Pro Media. Find them on YouTube each and every weekday at 9 a.m. Get you started with what's going on with that trading day and much more. Appreciate the time as always. Tommy Grisafi, Advanced Trading, ATI Pro Media. Have a great one, sir. Thank you. We'll talk to you again soon.
See you, buddy.
Make sure to subscribe to the Market Talk YouTube channel. You can watch our latest interviews with top market analysts in the country, find bonus content, and much more. It's easy. Just go to youtube.com/@MarketTalkAg and hit the subscribe button. Or you can search for Market Talk Ag on YouTube.